The Quester's Pledge. I, the seeker of adventure, do solemnly swear on the noble art of magic that I will abide by the laws of the land, and that I will always be truthful and wary upon my quest, and that I do not use my magic for personal gain, but to advance peace and prosperity to the inhabitants of the land of Believathon. Hi everybody, it's Nikki here and welcome to a Bookish Friday video. So today's video is the start of the Believathon reading vlog. So I am taking part in Believathon 2, which is a readathon hosted by Gavin from the channel How to Train Your Gavin. I will link his video for you down below. I will show you again the map that I will be travelling. And the first place we're calling at is Poacher's Pocket Inn. I have my lunch. I've ordered some cheese and crackers and Kinder Bueno because they're delicious, why not? And I have myself a lovely cup of tea in a lovely mermaid mug because you know me and mermaids. So these are all the books that I am going to be reading for the Believathon. The first book I'm starting with is The Iron Trials by Holly Black and Cassandra Clare. This is a reread for me, so it should be pretty quick. I actually started it just after midnight last night, but I only got to chapter 2. I've started this one. It's as good as I remember. This one is about a boy who knows he has magic, and he's about to take a test so that he can go into the magisterium school, but his father has been telling him that whatever happens he must fail this test and he must not get into this school. His father believes that magic is evil and wrong, and his father has magic but no longer practices it since his wife died when Cal was a baby. So yeah, very, very interesting. It's kind of like Harry Potter but with a twist. So yeah, I really enjoyed this, and I now have the box set of the series, so I will be reading this first. The second book I will be reading is The Girl of Ink and Stars by Karen Millward Hargrave. This one is for Baba Yaga's house prompt, and I believe it's about a young girl who leaves her island, which is forbidden. You're not allowed to do that, and her best friend has disappeared, so she's going off to find them. The next book I'm reading is the first book in the Pages & Co series, which is Tilly and the Book Wanderers. This is for my Mermaid's Lagoon prompt, I believe, and this is about a young girl whose grandparents own a bookshop, and she discovers that she can wander into books, and that also some characters can come out of books, and I believe she goes off on an adventure to find her mother. The next book I'm actually going to be buddy reading with a friend of mine. I met her originally at my local Waterstones book club, and then we connected on Twitter, so I noticed that she was reading this book for the same prompt, which is the Orion Found prompt, and I asked her if she wanted to buddy read it. So we are reading Orion Lost by Alistair Chisholm, and this is basically a sci-fi, and I'm told that there's not many sci-fi in middle grade, so I was keen to read this and see what I think. It's about a group of children who are on a spaceship. Something goes disastrously wrong and it is up to them to get themselves back home. I will say that sci-fi is not my favourite genre. I have tried to read sci-fi on many occasions, so I'm a little dubious going into this one because I'm hoping then maybe if I'm not interested in adult sci-fi and I can kind of cope with YA sci-fi, maybe middle grade sci-fi might be the best way for me to enjoy this genre, because I would like to read more sci-fi because I like to have a variety in my reading. But yeah, I'm a little apprehensive about whether I'll enjoy this or not, and it's quite a big one for middle grade, 360 pages. So, and the last place I will be heading to is of course the Bookkeeper Stronghold, and for that one I'm reading the second book in the Magisterium series by Holly Black and Cassandra Clare, and this is the Copper Gauntlet. I have not read this one, I've only read the first one, so this one is a completely brand new book. Completely brand new book for me. I haven't even bothered to read the back, so I'll have no spoilers for this going in. I believe that Charlotte, I nearly called her Catherine then. Where did Catherine come from? I nearly said it again. Why do I want to call her Catherine? Charlotte from Wacky World of Lottie is reading these two books for the same prompts as well. So I think we're buddy reading them. Not 100% sure. I'll have to confirm that with her. I think we are. We've got a lot of buddy reads on together at the moment. We're still going through the Hush Hush series. It's a thing. So yeah, she's my buddy read buddy, if that makes sense. So yeah, that will be my final book. I'm going to eat my lunch and I'm going to drink my tea and enjoy myself at the Poacher's Pocket Inn. So I have a couple of puzzles here that have come today. There'll be a couple coming in the next couple of days because I have no self-control at all whatsoever. I did my makeup today, so I put a picture of it up on my Instagram, which I will link for you down below. But I use my Tarte Be a Mermaid and Make Waves palette, which I absolutely love and is in my 3 of a Kind project at the moment. So yeah, I finally got to use it again, which is about maybe the second time, maybe third time since I bought it 2 years ago. But anyway, so let's get into this first parcel. These will be mostly books, to be fair. Okay, so the first one is, and I don't know why this came in a separate box, because I ordered this with the other books that are coming today, so I don't know why this came in a separate box, I don't know. But this is Les Mis by Victor Hugo, and this is volume 2, so that is going to kind of give you a spoiler as to what is in one of these other boxes. But yeah, because Les Mis is so big, it's in 2 parts in the Wordsworth Classics series, so I got that one. And then we'll go for this big one. That one didn't quite go all the way down. So let's just destroy the box instead. This one's only got 1 book in it as well. Um, this one is The Hunchback of Notre Dame by Victor Hugo. Oh, I did not realise that when I ordered it. I was just looking at the name of the classic, and this is again another Wordsworth classics, and it's a really floppy one. Look at that! That's like, it won't even stand still. Look. Oh, it will. Oh, no, it won't. That is a super floppy paperback. Is that super floppy? That's not. It's a floppy one, but it's not super floppy, and I like the super floppy. So yeah, this is going to be awesome. As you know, I'm trying to collect the Wordsworth classics, so very happy for that. And the final box. Yep. I love that, so satisfying. And in here we have 3 books. So the first one is Les Miserables Part 1, or Volume 1, by Victor Hugo. So we have 1 and 2, so it will actually be as big as that. And those are the spines. So we've obviously got Cosette, and then I'm guessing that's probably Valjean. So yeah, so both volumes of Les Miserables and Hunchback of Notre Dame. And then I've got The Tenant of Wildfell Hall by Anne Bronte. And this one is also a super floppy. I'm liking this. I'm liking this a lot. It's going to make reading the book so much easier. Very tiny writing, however. But yeah, it's gonna be really nice to read. I love these floppy paperbacks. So yeah. And then I got, now I don't need to buy this book in the Wordsworth Classics edition because I already have this book in 2 other editions. One of those is a Wordsworth edition, but it's Dracula by Bram Stoker, and it is in the Wordsworth editions, so it is going to look nice with all the others. So there's the whole stack. But as you know, Dracula is my favourite classic that I've read so far. I absolutely love it. I have it in a hardback edition, but then I also have it in a the Supernatural edition, which has the short stories of Dracula's Guest and other short stories as well by Bram Stoker. But I wanted to get a Wordsworth Classics edition like this one, so that it goes with all my other on the pile, so that, yeah, so that they all match. So those are all the books that I bought. I'm not that far through Iron Trials as much as I wanted to. I'm only up to chapter 5 now, but I stopped to do my makeup, and then I started dinner. We're having a roast dinner today because I left it too late to do the roast dinner yesterday, so we decided to have a Monday roast instead of a Sunday roast this week. That's okay, isn't it? That's fine. But yeah, so the chicken is cooking. I have about an hour before I have to put the potatoes in, so I might get some reading done. I'll probably get some reading done. Scott is downstairs playing golf on the PS4 and laughing about something hilarious. You can't hear him, but I can. He gets very loud, very, very loud. So yes, I will stay upstairs and read, put a timer on my phone so I can go down and check the chicken. So yeah, that is my haul. So today is Tuesday the 12th. Tuesday the 12th, I think. I am just getting ready, or not really getting ready because I'm not really going anywhere. But I just thought I would put some makeup on. But I just wanted to do an update. I have finished Magisterium. I finished the Iron Trials, which is the first book in the Magisterium series by Holly Black and Cassandra Clare. This is my Poacher's Pocket In prompt, done and dusted. Quick review. Let's chat quickly about that while I do my makeup. This is going to be a new thing for me. I need a little mirror. Where's my little mirror? So the Iron Trials. I'm actually just messaging like Charlotte now because she's reading the Iron Trials as well for her first prompt for the Believathon as well, and she's like, oh my god, I'm already intrigued, like what does this mean? And I'm like, I know. And it is so exciting, like seeing her like reading it for the first time and being intrigued, and I'm like, I know what's gonna happen. Yeah, it was really, rereading it was really exciting as well, because I already knew like the twist that really sort of sets this book like going for me. I just thought, you know, going into it a second time, I thought that it wouldn't be as exciting, but this time I'm seeing, like, I can understand why people reread books, because I just saw so much in the writing this time. And I was like, oh, I know why that's happening, and I know why this is happening, and I know. And it was just so cool and really, like, giving me such a buzz. I was getting a completely, like, I enjoyed the book the first time, but the second time was so much better. And part of me kind of just wants to go straight on to the second book now, knowing that I have the second book to go on to, but I do have to like follow the path. So I will be going to Baba Yaga's house next, and for that I'm going to be reading The Girl of Ink and Stars by Kieran Millward Hargrave. This is 222 pages, and if you're wondering why I'm always looking at the front, it's because when I get a book, I find out the number of pages and then I put it on a little post-it note at the front of the book. And I do that so that I can quickly sort of see how many pages is in a book at a glance, without having to keep looking at the back of the book and possibly spoil myself. Because when I first get a book, I find out how many pages there are. I try not to look at the words, just the page numbers. But sometimes if I catch a bit of a spoiler, by the time I actually end up getting round to reading it, I've normally forgotten whatever it was that I saw anyway. So, yeah, that's why I do that, so that I'm not spoiling myself by looking at the back of the book to find out how many pages are in a book. So, yeah. And it also helps as well when I get a prompt for a readathon that says read a book less than 250 pages. I can quite quickly find those books, because I also have, there's a big, every time I get a new book, it's like a big massive thing, because I should really get a job as an auditor, because I like making lists and I like making notes of things coming in and out of my book collections, my makeup collections and things like that. So I have this notebook here and it's like a book inventory, and so I literally write down the name of the book and then how many pages is in that book. So, and I separate them by genres as well. So I have a page for my contemporaries, a page for my classics, and, you know, and so on and so forth. So I can see quite quickly at a glance if what books are less than 250, what books are over 500 pages and things like that. So yeah, it's a whole thing that I do when I get a new book. I have to spend 5 or 10 minutes logging them into different logbooks that I have for different purposes, because I have more than one logbook, because I just like making lists. I've seen a couple of people that they're already on to their third book, and I'm like, it only started yesterday. I mean, how fast are you reading? But, you know, maybe They spent more time yesterday reading than I did, but I ended up watching a film last night, so that took some of my reading time out. Right. But yeah, the Magisterium, the Iron Trials, I don't want to talk about it too much because I don't want to spoil it, because I think that the twist in the book is what makes the book as good as I believe it to be. I just love it. I think, and a lot of people are gonna disagree with me here, but I actually like the first book of the Magisterium series better than Harry Potter. And it's no big surprise, I've said it before on my channel, I'm not a massive fan of Harry Potter. I was practically an adult by the time those books came out, so I was not caught up in the hysteria of when these books came out and everyone was buying them and reading them. And I have gone into Harry Potter like as a grown-up adult. I started reading them last year when I was 39 and I'm 40 now, so yeah, my opinions on Harry Potter don't count, I suppose, because I'm an adult reading them. But I mean, if an adult can read middle grades, Harry Potter's middle grades, so you know, maybe my thoughts and feelings on Harry Potter are valid. I know I'll get a lot of hate for not liking Harry Potter, but I see so many faults with Harry Potter. I can't get past them. And I feel like Cassandra Clare and Holly Black, when they came to write the Magisterium series, I mean, granted, I've only read the first book. I don't know what the rest of the series is like. It might get worse from now on. I don't know. But it's almost like they went, I see you, Harry Potter, and I raise you. I just feel like the intrigue and the plot is just so much better and more realistic as well, even though we're talking about magic. And the magic system is based on the elementals. So you have earth, air, wind and fire, and then a fifth elemental, which is chaos. And so yeah, that's what the magic system is based off. Whereas I don't feel like we get an explanation for Harry Potter's magic system. In the Magisterium here, we get like a mantra that they kind of learn, which is that air wants to rise, earth wants to bind, fire wants to burn, water wants to flow, and chaos wants to devour. So it explains its magic system a little bit easier as well. So yeah, I really like that. And then there was a big war that happens in the prologue of the book, and there are only certain mages can control chaos magic, and they're called makers. They're sought after because they're very rare to have, and they're the only ones that can really defeat the enemy, who is known as the enemy of death. So yeah, it's very, very interesting. But yeah, so I've rambled on for quite a while. I still haven't finished doing my makeup. It's very, I'm a bit like a bloke. I have to do one thing at a time. I can either put my makeup on or I can talk about books. So I'm gonna put my makeup on. I don't use Corpile because I generally use my books to note my reading on. I don't really use my computer. Again, I'm kind of old school. Look, when I was at school, we were still using DOS, and half of you won't even know what that is. Yeah, I will be putting this into my reading journal, and I'm going to give it a 5 stars because I love this book. I I loved it the first time I read it. I loved the intrigue, I loved the plot, I loved the twists, I love the characters. There are a couple of animal creatures in here who I absolutely love and adore. Oh, Havoc, I want my own Havoc. Let's put it that way. I kind of want my own Warren as well, even though he's a little bit of a nuisance. But yeah, I absolutely love this book, so it's a 5 stars from me. So, as I say, I'm going to be moving on to this one after I've finished doing my makeup, and I will be back later with an update on how I'm getting on with this. Hi, so today is Wednesday the 13th. I have finished The Girl of Ink and Stars by Kieran Millwood Hargrave. I gave this a 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I believe this was Kieran's first debut book, and honestly, she's just got better and better with her writing. She started off in a really good place. The one problem I've had with a couple of her books, like when I read The Deathless Girls and also The Way Past Winter, was that I felt like her endings were a bit rushed, like she ran out of word count or something. But in this one, I felt like the ending was perfect. It was really well done. There was danger, there was peril, and it ended really, really well, and I liked how it wrapped up. I liked the characters, I liked the myth and the legend in this story, and I liked the epilogue of the story as well. I thought that was really sweet, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. I did give it 4 stars. I actually put it in to Goodreads originally at 5 stars, but then when I look at some of the other 5 stars that I've read recently, it's not quite there in that league, so I did drop it down to 4 stars. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. It will be staying on my shelves, possibly for a reread again some time in the future. But yeah, so I read The Girl of Ink and Stars. That was my Baba Yaga's house prompt for the Believathon. Hi, so today is Saturday the 16th of May, and I have not vlogged for 2 days because my mental health took a downward turn. Yesterday I just kind of had a very quiet day, sat downstairs with my husband, we watched a couple of movies, and I did a little bit of reading but not a lot. I did a bit of reading on Thursday. Now, I think the last time I spoke to you, I had just finished The Girl of Ink and Stars by Kieran Millwood Hargrave, which I was very happy with, and I gave it 4 stars. And the next book I should have turned to was Pages & Co. Tilly and the Book Wanderers by Anna James, which is the first book in the Pages & Co. series. But I wanted to listen to this one on audiobook because I saw it on Scribd. I'm going to be reading along with the physical book as well, just because I think it will enhance my enjoyment of this book. But for whatever reason, Scribd was not allowing me access to the audiobook until Friday the 15th, and I'd finished Girl of Ink and Stars on Wednesday, so I had Thursday with nothing to read. So I contacted Bex, who is also doing the Believathon, and we are buddy reading, or were buddy reading, Orion Lost by Alistair Chisholm together. We'd both chosen the same book for our 4th prompt, which was the Orion Found prompt, which was to read a book either set in space or a sci-fi, and this one is obviously both. It's what the prompt was actually based on, this book. So we were both reading this, so I asked her if she wanted to start this one early because I couldn't get to my 3rd book just yet, and she said, yeah, I'm happy to start it. So we started reading this on Thursday, and we kind of read the first 100 pages, and then we read another 100 pages yesterday, and then we finally finished it today, and I loved it. This was so good. The author really likes to have those cliffhanger kind of dun 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 kind of endings to his chapters, which I really appreciated and really enjoyed. So yeah, it was really interesting. This is a story about a group of children who are on a big ship called Orion. They are with their families and they're traveling to a new planet that they are hoping to terraform and create a new like a new Earth kind of thing. And on the way there they have to do what they call jumping, which is where the ship jumps through space, because this new planet that they're going to is so far away that they would never be able to get there just flying directly, so they have to kind of hop and skip and jump through space to get there. But while the ship jumps, the whole crew has to go under a sleep, because otherwise it messes with their brains and their minds. And then the ship's AI, which is quite wonderfully called Ship, Ship is then responsible for waking everybody back up and reinserting everybody's memories back into them so that they can awake. During their journey there is an event which causes them to emergency jump, and when the children wake up only they are awake and the adults will not wake up. So it's up to this group of children to figure out what's happened, to fix the ship and try and get them home. And they come across dangers like the Videshi, who are this alien species that they don't know much about, and also scrapers, who are other humans who have sort of rebelled against Earth and space travel and that, and are kind of like the pirates of the sky. So yeah, they have to deal with all of this, and there's a very good message in this book, in that the girl who ends up acting as captain basically is being taught that it's a really good thing, because it says think of yourself like a ship. You cannot change the sea, you cannot change the wind, but you do have control of your own ship. And so be the master of your own ship. And instead of fighting against the wind or fighting against the sea, just control what you can and forget about everything else. Because you'll be wasting your energy fighting against something you can't change. And I really like that message, and considering my mental health is very much about stress and worrying about things that are beyond my control, I kind of really needed this book right now. So yeah, I'm very inspired by the message of this book, and I absolutely loved it, and that's why it got 5 stars from me, because this is a very important book for someone like me to read. And this is why I agree with Gavin when he says middle grades are just as important to read when you're an adult as they are when you're a kid, because they can remind us of the most simplest of messages. Right now I needed the message that was in this book, and I really appreciated that. So thank you again, Gavin, for creating a readathon that gave us these beautiful books to remind us of these simple but important messages. So yeah, thank you. Yeah, so now that I finished that one, and now that it's past the 15th, I can now access the audiobook for this one on Scribd. So I have been listening to this morning. I'm currently on chapter 12, which is about there, and I'm on page 124 out of 386. So That's how far I am there. I'm quite enjoying it at the moment. It is very much a children's book. This would be a great book to sort of sit with your young children and read at bedtime. This would be a great bedtime story. And yeah, I'm really, really enjoying it. I'm getting to the point now where Tilly has discovered that she can talk to a couple of the characters from her favourite books, that they've come to life almost and become her friends. She's trying to figure out how she can make certain characters, or she can meet certain characters but not all of them. So she's trying to figure out how this is working. And she's just been pulled into her first story as well. So I'm excited to see where it goes from here. It has been mentioned that her mum disappeared many years ago, not leaving any notes or any information. We've already met a very kind of scary, sort of weird character who we think might be the bad guy. We're aware that her granddad doesn't like this guy. So yeah, it's definitely like a younger middle grade, but really enjoying it. And this book is absolutely stunning. I mean, look at that hardback. It's just beautiful.